I'm here to show you some hand quilting and how I do hand quilting. My mom used to do a hoop. This was her hoop actually for quilting. She would sit in her chair and she would balance this across and she would be able to do some very tiny lovely stitching. I have tried with this and I don't know if it's too long or I am one of these people, I cannot use a hoop. Now they do sell smaller hoops. They'll sell smaller hoops like that are 12 or 14 inches and that are easier to use, but I found when I was doing this by hand, just my hands, it was easier. So I'm going to show you the way I hand quilt. So come on a little closer, it's going to be fun. Okay, so we're going to try and quilt this square here. Now, what you're going to need for that, I'm using embroidery floss because I have 2 boxes of embroidery floss. And this is kind of a really pale blue, but it will work on the white and black prints fairly well. And if you need to, you need some kind of a marking system, like if you got a ruler and just, you know, drew a line here as to where you're going to put your whatever little design you're going to put. These Hera markers are by Clover and they're just the greatest little tool. And like I say, I'm using embroidery floss for this project because I have buckets of it. And normally you would use perlate cotton and it comes in so many lovely colors. This is my little bag of fabulous colors. And you would use, if you're using this, you need at least a chenille 20 needle to work with. So I also have a bunch of needles here in my needle case. Now, some people prefer to hand quilt with sashiko needles, right? These sashiko needles here. I'm usually in between a 24 or 22, right? But I mean for what the hand quilting I do. But you could pick up any kind of embroidery needle or, you know, whatever you want to use. If you're using embroidery thread, it works. The other thing is I try and make sure I have some kind of hand, like thread conditioner around. Now, and this thread conditioner is real simple to use. Oops, hang on, let me get this. My husband and I made a batch of this, and it was kind of a comedy of errors. Basically, you put your finger in, and you pull your thread through a couple of times, and you push that thread into the thread conditioner. And now I'm going to show you how to do a quilter's knot with this embroidery thread. Now you put it like this, right? Just like this. You lay this thread up like this. You hold on to it 1, 2, 3, and then you hold on to the knot. And there you go. There is your knot at the end of this. At the end of this. Okay. Now, in order to quilt this square, now there's a couple of different theories that people use. I try and slip in between where I have hand stitched. It's a little easier usually for me to get in, and then I just pull my thread up out of the way, and that way I'm not necessarily breaking up my stitches, but at the same time I'm not creating a hole in the fabric either. And sometimes I have to scratch and wiggle, but it's fine. Okay, and that thread is buried. So now, because I'm not using a hoop, I'm going to try and hold the work up like from the bottom. So I've got my hand underneath here now, and I'm going to try and center this so you can see. And I just rock my needle back and forth, down and up. So basically you're manipulating the needle with your dominant hand, and you're manipulating the fabric with your non-dominant hand. Now I can only quilt from right to left because that's the way my brain is, and that's just the way it is. So for me, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull through and put my hand back underneath. Every once in a while it gets a little stuck. And I'm just going 1/4 inch away from this line here. So I'm just, basically I'm echoing the shape. This quilt pattern here is basic shapes, and basically it talks about hexes and diamonds and triangles and squares. So, and it does look very dramatic. I think we're going to do a sew along on this again because this is such a fun one to do, but I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to give you guys some options if we do another sew along on this, and I will give instructions for both the hand-pieced one and the sewing one. So what I've done, once I've finished that line, I kind of push that down. Like I kind of hold it down and I push it, and now I rotate my work because I can only stitch from right to left. Okay, so then I put my hand back under, and I try to stay out of the way of the pin that's here because it'll tangle up my fabric, and I try not to take I don't take double my length from my tip of my finger to my elbow. I try not to take more than that, doubled, because what happens is it gets tangled too quickly. It just tangles up too quickly. So here we are. Let's get another one. And I'm just holding on to this and manipulating the fabric back and forth. And what's going to happen, I'm just going to race to the end. And what you want to do is you keep your stitches even. That's what you're looking for, even. Okay, here we go. And so now I've lost my end here, so I'm pulling one of them. There we go. There. So now I press it back down so it doesn't, it's not going to bubble and ripple, right? So there we go. Now I give it another quick little spin. Usually I sit on the couch and do this, so it's kind of awkward to try and even hold this while you guys can see this. I don't think you can see it very well, can you? Basically, the needle is worked up and down. Okay. Up and down. Just like that. And you load up your needle as big as you want, and then you pull it through. There we go. And you keep rolling through. Okay. So you're holding this as the grip on the fabric is with your, well, in my case, my left hand. So if you're a left-handed person, you are holding the needle with your dominant hand, right? So there we go, and I'm just gonna pull through. And if you do end up with a little knot, sometimes it kind of knots just because it can, I think. There we go. And I'm going to push it down flat again. So now I'm going to spin it so I can get my fourth side. There we go. Now let's see. Yeah, we're right there. So you always try and get your inside, the pieces when you're hand quilting. You try and quilt as much of the inside first, or you know you're because then, and you work your way out. So because this is a pale blue like thread that I'm using, I know it looks white to you guys, but it's pale blue. So what I would do is the next one I would go somewhere else on this quilt and put, you know, the next square in as pale blue on a different star point or flower point or whatever these are called. So I'm just going to race to the end here so you can see how I end this off. Oops, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now, okay, so I'm going to put this down here like so. And now I'm at the end. Right now I've done all four sides. I've done all four sides. Oops. Okay. Okay. Oh, shoot. There we go. I've done all four sides. So I started here and I worked all the way around. Right? So what I'm going to do a hand over knot. And I'm going to float that knot about 1/4 inch away from the fabric. This is a cheat for all you people who are looking for cheats on hand quilting. So I've just made that one knot, a granny knot, and now I'm going to slip my needle under the fabric, but not through the batting necessarily, or through the batting, but not through the back. And now I'm going to pull until I hit my knot. Right there, my knot is right there. I don't know if you can see it. And then tug. Just give it a quick little tug. I can now take my pin out and grab my scissor. Here we go. And what I do now is I give this a little tug just to tighten it up a bit, and I bury my thread. And we're done. How simple is that? Okay, so we finished this square in a pale blue. Now, you can't see how pale blue this is, but I want to flip it over so you can see what the rest of this quilt is looking like, because I've got most of it quilted already. So hang on, let's flip it over. I'm going to try and center it so you see that square. And here's the square from the back. Now you can see the colors on this pale gray, right? This is the pink star, this is the blue star, the orange petals. But you can kind of see this starting to come together on the back as well. And it didn't really, this does not take long. If you're quilting like this, when you're hand holding your work, it doesn't take long at all. Yes, I know it's not the dainty little stitches that our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers did, but it's something that I can do. Now, I want to show you the center of a petal. Okay. This is, wait a minute here, let's find a good one. Here we go. This one you can see. This one's got purple petals and pink, and here's the orange. And how I did this is I had a half square, or half circle. So the top part of the curve went here, and then I moved the curve so it would go here, and then I moved the curve and it would go here. And I probably have that somewhere, and I'll just show you here real quick. This little beat up piece of cardboard was my template for this curve. So what I would do is I would pin it here and here, and then stitch around, and then move it 2, and then stitch around, move it 2, oops, where'd it go? 2, and then just stitch around. And that's a simple, cute little kind of a Celtic knot design, just with this beat up piece of cardboard. This is very old school, by the way. So, anyways, let's see. Anything else you want to see? If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. So, this is coming quickly to an end. Once I start getting all the pieces inside the quilt, the little white squares done. I know they don't look like squares because they've got that little white peak on either side of them. But this was such a fun project to do, and it's all hand pieced and hand quilted now. So we are thinking about running another one of these in a variation and doing it for both hand piecing and hand sewing. But while I'm here, I really want you to check out somebody who's also doing a lot of hand work. Her YouTube channel is called Quilting for the Soul, and she is just a charming lady. She captured my heart with her parasol ladies that she did with all hand applique. Now she's working on the most gorgeous cathedral window quilt I've ever seen in my life, and that's all hand sewn. It's just beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous. So you should check her out. I'm going to put her YouTube channel in the links below, the comments below. But this is our end quilt, so hopefully it will be done soon, because I've been working on this for a long time because I had to take a break when I cut my finger here a couple months back. So I hope you have a fabulous day and that you have just a wonderful week ahead. Okay, you have a great one. Bye! If you have questions about what you saw in this video, or you have ideas for content or something you want to see us do, please put those comments in the description below. But also, while you're there, like, share, and subscribe with your friends. That would really help us out. Okay, I want to thank you and have a great day.